Back here with Roy Hibbert, Chris Walker. Roy, you're rocking the Pacers zip up.
I mean, that.
You are feeling good right now. The Yesers force a Game 7. I didn't think they could do this. Here they are. How did they get this done in Game 6?
Well, first of all, I want to give so much love to T.J. McConnell. He was a man on a mission. He came in, he was aggressive, he got downhill. I wish he flirted with a triple-double. He was real close to it, so I'm really happy for his success. He just goes to show if you play both ends of the court, especially on defense, and you become a pest, you will get on the court, you will affect the team, you affect winning, and that's what coaches want to see most of the time. Now, to me, the biggest thing was also the fast break points. The Pacers took over. They got up and down the court, 22-11 fast break points. They're back to their normal self, what they do in the regular season and in the playoffs, but they used their hands really well. 16-4 in terms of steals. They were very active. And again, their stars came out to play towards the end of the game. They solidified it, so kudos to them. Pascal Siakam was running the floor. He played solid as usual. But if this team has a chance to win on Game 7, TJ, Pascal, and Halliburton need to come play, and I can't wait to see out of the mix of those when my Pacers win, who's going to be the Finals MVP.
Listen, we got to give Rick Carlisle, because, you know, much criticism was levied the last couple of games with rosters. I mean, with the lineups and substitutions. We got to give him credit the way he adjusted, took away the paint this game, right? And I'm telling you right now, the Pacers look like the Thunder. The way they were scrappy, they were double teaming. You had SGA had 8 turnovers. They just looked out of sorts the entire game, right? And you got to give T.J. McConnell credit for one thing, especially in the era that we're in now, where a lot of young players, they only look at the LeBrons and the KDs, and you see a player like him, and you let me watch a skit on him that he did, and he says, playing hard is a skill. And that is exactly what he did. And he empowered everybody else and made them believe. Also got to give credit to Tyrese Halliburton. Another thing that young players don't understand, you got to play through pain. You got to play through injuries. You got to be there for your teammates. There's something on the line. Be a part of something greater than yourself. There's a responsibility for being a superstar. It's not like in high school where you got the high school, or in college you got the college. When you're in the NBA, you got the city. And he showed up tonight, and him showing up again is one of those things where, because he didn't have the greatest numbers, but because he was there, right? Now T.J. McConnell doing this thing makes it that much better. The Pacers, yes, I know they're called the Yesers. It's a collective effort. I'm starting to believe that. Now, Game 7, we'll talk about that, but it's a collective effort. Tyrese Halliburton absolutely must be on the floor, and he's absolutely essential to them winning Game 7 on the road.
Roy, Obi Toppin was awesome in this game. 20 points, 6 rebounds, couple of steals. You want to talk about a guy getting after it. I mean, that T.J. McConnell, that influence perhaps is impacting him as well. I know he plays hard, but what was different for him here in this Game 6? You
know, I think he does a good job of filling in for Miles Turner when he's not playing at his highest level. So he guards on the other end. He's up on the drops. He's up on the screens. He's using his hands. He's getting some deflection. But on the offensive end, I think this is where he really shines. He finds himself at the top of the key or on the wings, open. Once T.J. McConnell drives to the basket, once Halliburton drives to the basket, they converge. He's open for threes in the corner, and he's hitting those things pretty well. Now, I think if he can continue to do this, he's going to help his team tremendously at the in Game 7. But his size, athleticism, and just the intangible things that he does guarding, it helps the team win.
And here's the thing about Obi Toppin that changes the game. So when Roy played, it was a much different game. You had bigs, so Roy had to guard ball screens, but he didn't have to guard guys that can shoot threes at a high clip from a position. So now you got Hardenstein and Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren did not play great tonight, right? Because they made him make plays that he wasn't accustomed to making. But if you can put Obi Toppin in at the 5 when Miles is struggling a little bit, and he can make threes, that opens up the floor when TJ drives, or Halliburton, or Siakam. And it's a very difficult situation when you have a big that can make threes, because you don't punish them for playing him. Because if you can't get in the lane as OKC because Miles Turner's not in the game, and then on the other side you got Obi Toppin making threes, that plays into the Pacers' favor. And so the question is, and this game is, and this series has been about who's turned the ball over the most. Uncharacteristically, we've seen 2 teams that are supposed to be the best teams left turn the ball over at a significant rate. And so we'll see if the Pacers, and I said before the game started, what's their thing? They got to come out swinging. We got nothing to lose. And who's that pressure going to be on Sunday? Not on the Pacers. They've taken care of business. And I'll say this.
They can win in that building.
And I'll say this, I'll come back to game 3. They didn't shoot threes well, and they won the game. If the Pacers don't win the NBA championship, they will look back at that game because that was their game when they played the exact way they wanted with the exact game plan, took away their threes, and forced them to make twos, and they threw the game away in the fourth quarter.
Roy, I'll tell you about turnovers is SGA. Like 8 turnovers, that is tied for the most by a player in an NBA Finals game in the last 40 years. What happened with him in terms of protecting the basketball? They just did not look like the same Thunder team that we saw in the regular season. This didn't even look like the same Thunder team we saw in this series.
Yeah. I think C-Walk touched on this a little bit. It's just the double team, how they double team them. When he's in the post and they double team him, he's such a good passer. He can whip that pass out and whip and find three-point shooters. What C-Walk talked about earlier, at the point of the screen, when you have Obi Toppin up and not back, they're able to double team, get the ball out of his hands, and he's actually throwing the ball into traffic. He's throwing it through hands, and that's when the Pacers were able to get, 19 steals or 16 steals on the night. So he has to be able to watch that and adjust for the next game. But the fact that when they go to double, that's the most important time and the most important thing. And that kind of screwed up his rhythm. Because I feel like you can't throw the same steady diet of defense at SGA. He's too smart. Neesmith, if he's going to keep fighting over and getting caught behind, he's going to end up being late. He's going to foul at the end of the shot clock and everything like that. So you have to go under sometimes. You have to mix it up. Don't let him get the same rhythm.
Are you surprised by the performance of SGA, and are you somewhat surprised by this performance from the Pacers? Because they started 0 of 8 in this game, the Pacers did. And then they turned, like this game was over at halftime. They outscored them 36-17 in that second quarter. I mean, it was over then. I can't sit up here and go, yeah, I expected, I didn't see this coming from the Pacers.
Listen, I will admit that I'm like, okay, it's going to be very tough if Halliburton doesn't play. And, you know, again, it ended up being much to do about nothing because he's actually a little bit more healthier than we thought. So, again, little gamesmanship there by the Pacers, right? I'm sure the Thunder, right, won't take it. We'll take it a little bit more serious going into Game 7. But I'll say this. I've always felt in this series, even when they set the line at -700, I said that's absolutely ridiculous. This team beat Cleveland. This team beat New York and underdogs, and you're saying -700? And they're underdog every single game.
Yes.
And now it's going into Game 7. I'm telling you right now, I would be afraid. Now, they're still going to be underdogs.
Yeah, the line is 8.5.
Right, and that's a good line. But I'm saying every single possession, because you know that Indiana in the fourth quarter, they're the team that can come back, right?
Yep.
The question is, can they duplicate what they're doing now? Because it's still a team that's the average age of 24 years old. You saw what SGA was capable of. You saw what J-Dub was capable of last game. They threw up a stinker. Now, we can sit back and say, well, they did it against, you know, this team, and they did it against Denver. This is Game 7 of the finals with a young team. And you got T.J. McConnell, experienced guy. You got Halliburton, experienced player. Siakam. You got a lot of different pieces where you can easily say that this game could swing. All of a sudden, what if Miles Turner decides to show up offensively? I'm just saying, this thing could get really, really funky really quickly. Now, again, let's not disrespect OKC, but
absolutely not.
It's -700, and now we're in Game 7. And who would be surprised? Have they been decidedly? Think about it. Have they been decidedly better than the Pacers? I don't think so. I really don't think so. It's been a series, so it could go either way, in my opinion.
It's been a series, and a series that is going to a Game 7 on Sunday night, 8 Eastern, over on ABC. Wow. I'm sitting here stunned that we have a Game 7 between the Pacers and the Thunder, the first Game 7 in the NBA Finals since 2016, when the Cavaliers, my Cavaliers, rallied from a 31 sit. LeBron James leading the Cavs over the Warriors. I had to work that in there. Of course, it's a drop note TV jargon, so I explained it as well. We've got plenty more to talk about here as the Pacers force a Game 7